morning, and welcome to Fort Bend Voters News. My name is Daphne Jack, and I am part of the Fort Bend Election News Editorial Board. Here on this morning, we have our great commissioner who is up for re-election, and we're going to introduce him and allow him to give us and tell a little bit about himself. To you, Commissioner.
Good morning to our viewers. I'm Fort Bend County Commissioner Grady Prestage. I've been privileged for the last 32 years to serve as commissioner of this wonderful county that I affectionately call Paradise. Fort Bend County is a wonderful place, and I've aided in the growth and development of this county over the years. And on March 1st, I want to ask for support to continue my efforts to make this county all that it can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now, first question to you. What one part of county government would you receive more attention if you were elected?
Okay. Well, the county is like a family, and you have your children, you have to all treat them the same. So we try to give equal attention, appropriate attention to each of those functional areas. But as I think about that question a little bit further, if there's not basic safety and security, it's hard for everything else to function. It's hard to have good roads if folks don't want to live there. If they don't feel safe. It's hard to have good education system if there's no safety concern. So public safety is probably the one thing that affects the quality of life, probably primarily, and everything else is probably secondary and descending order of priority. But public safety is one thing that's extremely important to a great quality of life.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Hi, my name is Cameron Hill, the Fort Bend Election News Editorial Board. Commissioner, why run and why run now?
Well, I've been on the ballot in Fort Bend County for this position since 1986. So this is my ninth election. I was not successful in my first run at 27 years old, and I lost a runoff election against an incumbent by 92 votes. And I vowed that that wouldn't happen again. That I would, I would do a little better. When something goes wrong with the flock, you don't blame the sheep, you blame the shepherd. I needed to make my case a little bit further, a little bit harder, a little bit more poignant to the voters in Fort Bend County. I've been fortunate to be unopposed most of the time. Before this election, I've only had one person to run against me in 32 years, and that's a humbling fact, and that I take real seriously. I want to continue to earn the trust of the voters in Fort Bend County. Done a great job, and I think that there's a lot left to do. We're at a point now where we've transitioned from a rural county to an urban county with urban problems and urban concerns, and it's going to take smart, effective solutions to move us forward.
Thank you. All right, another question for you, Commissioner. Should any part of the county budget be shielded from cuts? If so, what area?
We can only do what the state constitution and its statutes say we can do. And there's some things that are statutory required. We have to maintain vital records. We have to maintain a jail. We have to have some responsibility for public health. County roads and bridges and drainage and planting approval are things that you have to do in order for the county to function as a subdivision of the state of Texas. So some of those things you really can't cut. So you have elected officials like sheriffs, county clerks, district clerks that are elected with a set of statutory responsibilities. The Commissioner's Court, which is the budgetary body of the county, must fund those functions. No choice. Now, there's some things that are extra. I'm a Louisiana boy, some little lagniappe, okay? The lagniappe are things like parks and libraries and an EMS system. We run a countywide EMS system. That is not typical of counties in Texas. There are very few counties that do that. There are very few counties that have a library system. And we have a 14, soon to be 15 branches in a library system. That is extra. That's a little something extra. But the voters want that. So, but I go back to a comment I had earlier about what's vital and essential of those lists of statutory things that we have to do but need to be done at a higher level to ensure that it doesn't impede growth and development would be public safety. We've got to make sure that that we have a good ratio of patrolmen to citizens to keep our communities safe. We have to maintain a functioning jail up to the standards to make sure that we keep people who need to be in jail, and on the same token, those who don't belong in jail, we need to have a justice system that will get people back to work and not have someone in jail just because they can't afford bail or waiting trial. So public safety is very, very important. Yes, the state of Texas put us in a very precarious situation. A few years ago, they imposed a 3.5% revenue cap. So despite how we budget, how we grow, and the money that might be generated from new value, we can only increase our budget by 3.5%, which is really tough when you have 5 and 6 and 7% annual growth rate in the county. It puts us in a real tough situation. I know what the state was trying to do. They were trying to curry favor with the voters and tell them, look, I voted to lower your taxes. But they don't have any responsibility to provide these services. They leave it to us, but don't give us the tools to get it done. So the challenges we have coming up pretty soon right now are how are we going to fund the public services necessary to handle a growing population without having all the resources necessary to do so. It makes us have to be very, very creative and innovative to try to get this done. But we have a tough road to hoe unless the law changes.
Commissioner Cameron, you have any other questions?
I do. There's an additional question. I'd like you to expand on what you just said. Going into Fort Bend County, there's some challenges. And in those challenges, let's expand on the challenges and how would you address those?
Okay. Well, some of the challenges I'll point out is that we have this reputation as being an opulent place where people live in expensive homes and drive nice cars and have pristine schools that perform at a high level. But that's not all there's to say about Fort Bend County. We've got pockets of poverty. We got some situations in Fort Bend County that if you were blindfolded and taken there, you'd swear you were in a third world country or in Appalachia at best. And a great county addresses those situations. Everybody has to participate in the good quality of life. So I've committed myself over my tenure to eradicate those situations. When I came in office, there were 3 predominant areas in Fort Bend County where there was no public water and sewer service, none. And some of these areas are nestled up against, very expensive subdivisions. If you think that you live in those subdivisions and that the people live next door to you who live in squalid conditions don't affect you, you're wrong. Because those kids sit next to your kids in class, they walk by you, they're trying to survive and make a better life for their families, and it brings the whole quality of life for everybody down if everybody isn't averaged up. So I've been fortunate enough to build a couple of water sewer systems and participate in building a 3rd water and sewer system. I mean, you had situations where people had homes with a pipe running out of the back of the trailer into the field, raw sewage. Had inadequate water wells, and had water wells and septic systems right there next to one another. Totally unsafe and unsanitary situation. Now that was caused by the fact that the state of Texas, as a property rights state, and as one that limits the authority of county government to regulate development, didn't allow us to do a number of things. I mean, little known fact that in the unincorporated area of the county, you can start building something without getting a building permit. There's absolutely nothing the county can do. You can build anything you want, wherever you want. That's Texas law. Texas is a property rights state. And I guess their attitude is that if you want to live under rules and regulations, go live in the city. But if you want to live out in the county and do your own thing, you have that right. But that makes it tough for a county like Fort Bend that has smaller cities and a whole lot of unincorporated area. We have been fortunate to a certain extent that there were big tracts of land that were easy to acquire, and developers would build nice planned communities, but there's a lot of folks that are left behind. And I've been fortunate enough to work to eradicate those situations in my tenure in office.
Thank you, Commissioner. So now, in closing, what would you want to tell the voters?
don't change horses in the middle of the stream. You know, I've done a great job, and if I were unmotivated, complacent, and lost sight of my core mission, or lost sight of who put me here and what they expect of me, then it'd be time to get me out of here. I wouldn't even vote for myself. But that's not the case. I'm at the top of my game. You won't find a more capable, committed, hardworking professional than Grady Prestage. I've got a good reputation. I've got an opportunity and had an opportunity to mentor all the new elected officials that come in. And I'm the longest serving public official in the history of Fort Bend County. And I'm not even the oldest member on Commissioner's Court. So I've got a little gas left in the tank, and I'd like you to give me a chance to continue to do things that are good for the citizens of Fort Bend County and make us the true place that I call paradise.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.